Hello, you're listening to Reviewing History, your comedy history podcast. I'm filmmaker and teacher Brian Rupert, joined here by...
As always, Stephen Dagliaco.
And?
Anthony.
We're switched seats, by the way. See that?
A new year.
It's a new year, new us.
Yeah.
I used to be on this side.
pointing.
I used to be over like here in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved over there. I don't know why that
Was
happened.
that before video?
Just natural occurrences.
No, some of the early videos I'm over here.
Really?
I'm over here
Yeah,
now.
we switch it up depending on who gets here first.
Steve was here first.
I was
Yeah.
here first.
He was the first man at the studio, last to leave.
Yeah, that's me.
Tell him Steve Dave he's going to vacuum the floor and wash the walls after we leave.
I learned
He's
that
going to stay behind.
some of the best coaches.
He's got to get rid of all the gum.
Is that the record for quickest gay joke?
That might it might be. I threw a few gay ones at him early on too, so that might be the record. Thank you for that one. That was good.
All right, but we're here doing Steve's pick.
This is my pick.
Steve clearly has a problem with me, and he wanted to make me suffer, and he picked Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
I don't know why it makes you suffer, because it's a movie about somebody. It's about somebody's life, and that's it. It's a story about that happened. It's true.
This movie sucks.
This
fucking
movie
awful.
is great.
It's terrible.
Movie's great.
It's like not even a movie.
I've hated this movie forever. I've never liked it.
You've never liked it, but you never had to watch it for historical accuracy.
There's nothing there. Like, I don't know what we're going to talk about today.
I got a couple of things.
Good, because I don't.
So
we're going to talk about mainly...
So they did drugs in a hotel room.
Yes.
It wasn't the trop. It was actually the top.
So I have the Criterion Collection,
Okay.
and I didn't tell you guys what I watched.
What'd you watch?
I actually have the commentary track with Hunter S. Thompson, the producer,
Him doing it?
over the film and telling what's real and what's not.
Well, that's
here
more
and there. So
interesting.
I have a couple of takes that are different.
Did you watch it twice?
I don't need to watch this.
He's
movie.
seen this a lot.
Yeah.
See, here's my world with this movie. It was something that when I was a teenager, like my junkie friends loved,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I had never seen. Beaver always loved this movie. Not that I'm saying Beaver was a junkie,
Yeah.
but we hung out with junkies,
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
and they all adore this movie.
Yup.
And they made me. We sat down to watch it one day, me and Steve, and I was so bored. Like I thought it was terrible.
There's
And
one funny moment in the entire movie.
I don't even think there's that.
When
and
he
then-
throws the orange, it's funny.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
And then watched it again last night to do this, and it did not improve whatsoever. If anything, it's worse than I remember it. It's just there's nothing there. There's nothing to grab onto.
This is my third time watching it.
Mhm.
Hated it the first time.
Yeah,
I think the second time I hated it, but I liked it a bit more.
Mhm.
I hate it more than ever.
and it's weird because I love Terry Gilliam. I think he's great.
He's a great. It's directed great, actually.
Yeah,
The movie looks great.
yeah.
And it's shot well. The problem is,
And I even think the performances are probably good.
I think Depp is
Performances
great.
are
Yeah,
very good.
There's just no story. There's nothing.
It's guys do drugs.
Oh, it's a series of vignettes with no connective tissue, and like no point to any of
Other
it.
than the voice.
And then you get like occasionally like boomer fucking like nonsense, boomer liberal nonsense.
Man, I want to rant about something in this fucking movie. So
and it's
bad.
not even like boomer. I'll just straight up like Hunter S. Thompson is not a boomer. He's older than them, but he's someone that boomers love and like creates their culture.
He was a hippie,
Yeah,
but he was a weird guy.
He's like a guy who was older and like latched on to the hippie movement and ended up becoming like one of its founders, essentially, like a cultural like guy.
So
in
that's the main reason why I like this film.
So he's born in
Is his
37.
story.
So he's in his 30s.
in the 60s.
In the 60s.
Yeah,
He
Well, the late
is
60s.
not very boomer-esque. The real man.
yes, he is.
I think he's mislabeled, and that's why I kind of wanted to talk about this dude.
Great. I mean, I'm willing to talk about it.
Yeah.
I just think the movie's not good.
So the movie is one of his stories where I guess we could jump in.
Well,
Or do
real
you wanna
quick.
do a little preface.
Well,
here?
real quick. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is based on a book
It was
by
about
Hunter
the
S.
same
Thompson
name.
Mhm.
by the same name.
Semi-autobiographical.
And it was all,
Yes.
and I believe it was done before with Bill Murray
Where the Buffalo
with the
roam.
Buffalo Roam.
That's not the same story.
Okay.
Yeah.
That movie I actually like.
Where the Buffalo roam, Bill Murray portrayed him to ill effect based on what Hunter said. He actually said he was a horrible actor as him.
Yeah.
Who said that?
Hunter S. Thompson.
He didn't like Bill Murray's
He was
performance?
like, Bill Murray did not do a good job. He said Johnny Depp did a better job, which we'll get into later on.
Well, I don't think anybody's going to like the person pretending to be them. You know,
No, Hunter said he did a good job, and he was friends with Johnny Depp afterwards. Johnny
Yeah.
Depp lived with him.
Yeah, from
and
what
so
I
did Bill
understand,
Murray.
they had
Bill Murray lived with
yeah.
him as well.
Yeah, they were friends.
Yeah.
So,
And supposedly Bill called up Johnny Depp when he was starring the movie, and he was like, "Your next movie after Fear and Loathing, you need to do something radically different because like the character of Hunter S. Thompson, when you play him, it like stays on you."
Really?
Yeah,
do you think it stayed on him for like Pirates? I think he actually took a little bit of that.
he moves like him at times.
I think that's just Johnny Depp.
I think that's when you move like a fucking junkie.
That was actually
By
one
the
of
way,
Hunter
this
S.
movie-
Thompson's problems.
This movie, I know there's some people that love it.
Cult classic.
If you're into drugs and you like this, you're gonna hate all my takes with the movie.
Mm.
And I apologize because I've never liked drugs really.
Me and you are squares.
We're squares.
Yeah.
We're the dudes at the cop like festival. You know? We're the straight-laced dudes in the tie screaming at the gay clerk. It's like, look, this movie is just not in our world. It's not something we
Yeah.
like. It's not something we approve of.
All right.
And like, I'm going to be a stick in the mud about it. And that's who I am. And I'm sorry. I'm prefacing all the listeners right now.
Yeah.
All right.
Like, I fucking despise everything in this fucking movie
I
and
do
what it
think
stands
this
for.
is going. This specific movie, like why I picked it. I do like the movie. I do like the story of Hunter, but I also think the message behind the movie and the reason why it was made, the reason why the book was made, I think that's more of the topic of conversation than the movie itself.
Probably, but even
And I think that's going to come up a lot once we dive in and dissect this a little.
I don't think anybody could watch this and be like, this is a movie about how drugs are bad.
No, it glorifies
It's
them.
glorified.
Drugs are great.
Right. Yes.
Look how fucking awesome it is
And
to
that-
hang out and have trips in hotel rooms.
That idea is such a just hippie fucking dumb premise
Mhm.
that we're so far removed. Like, we've had so much time to sit with that idea that anyone who still thinks that is retarded.
Drugs have never improved
Yeah.
the life of a single goddamn fucking person ever.
Right.
It's the most dangerous, destructive fucking thing in the fucking country. And you have fucking idiot teenagers who watch this shit and think this is funny and cool, and they fucking love this movie. This movie is fucking evil. It's like a satanic movie. Do drugs, waste your fucking life, do trips in hotel rooms, see lizard people. It's fucking cool. No, it's not fucking good. I'm sorry. And like all this shit, oh, the American dream is dead. We have to find it here. It's like
you killed it.
You fucking dumb hippies. You guys killed it with your fucking shitty drug use.
This is what
You
I love
fucked it
about
up.
it. So from
I
his
fucking hate this
I hate them.
goddamn movie.
I hate them.
Man, I just
from his word, the movie and the reason why he wrote this was a reflection of the post-mortem of the 60s movement,
Mhm.
right? That's what it's about.
The movie takes place in 1971.
Yes.
Yeah.
It takes place in 1971. This is after the hippie movement basically died.
And the movie
Right.
shows one trip to Vegas. In reality,
Mhm.
the book is based on 2 trips to Vegas.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I looked it up.
Yeah. So
Um,
it was a weekend where he was supposed to okay, so let's
think-
talk about Hunter for a second and
Just
his
real quick
past.
about you brought up the hippie movement and,
Yes.
and that late 60s thing.
Mhm.
I think the bill was starting to come due around this time of the, decade of straight decadence and fucking self-indulgent garbage. I think the 2 events that kind of put the bookend on the 60s is one, Altamont, where when the Stones were playing and the guy got stabbed.
Okay, yeah, the Hell's Angels.
Yeah, the Hells Angels thing. And then
Which I believe Hunter S.
Well,
Thompson has a
Hunter S.
book on.
Thompson wrote a book called
Hell's Angels.
He stayed
He
with the
like
Hells Angels.
infiltrated the
Yes.
hell. I say infiltrate, but he really like just hung out with
He
them.
hung out with him.
He has a book, Hell's Angels, in 1967.
It has it's called something else. It's Hell's Angels: A Strange and Terrible Saga, and it was like him doing an expose
Okay.
on it.
He was witnessed like a lot of brutal things with the Hells Angels,
and that
he
was certainly the
lived
height of them.
Yeah.
As a gang and as a criminal organization.
with. Yeah.
So there's that, and I think the other one is the Manson murders,
Mhm.
which happens in '69. I want to say.
I believe so. I mean, Tarantino would tell you that that's like the kind of the end of the American dream himself, and that's kind of what Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is about.
It's symbolically, I almost agree with that. Like it's like
That-
this is what we've wrought.
That's the beginning of
Yeah.
America losing its like innocence, kind of.
Well,
that's what
no.
they- that's what
I think
people would
it's
say.
like this is where we are now.
It's paving the way for the gritty 70s.
Well, the '70s are a miserable time in America.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I'm sorry I interrupted you. What were you saying, Steve?
Well, I wanted to dissect the man and why he did what he did. And
Sure.
You kind of started it, right?
Yeah.
He was a reporter. He hung out with the Hells Angels, but
He was a freelance journalist. Like he didn't
he was a
really work
journalist,
he worked for himself and then would like sell articles.
he never said that he was a writer. He's like, I'm a journalist.
Yeah.
And he invented Gonzo journalism, which is talking your inner monologue in the actual article
Mhm.
itself, which was kind of unheard of. You wanted to do biased reporting, and he kind of threw that on its
He
head.
threw himself into whatever the action was
Whatever the
and
story
became
was.
part of it.
Right.
And he told you from his
From
story.
a
And I
point of
believe there's
view.
a documentary which I watched in 2008 called The Gonzo.
I have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think you made me watch it
I
when
made
you
you
were
watch it,
when
yeah.
you were heavily into Fear and Loathing. You're like, you gotta watch this doc, man.
Well, I think the
Also, a part of that is while he was writing, he would be high as fuck.
Yes.
Like that's the
Yes.
point. Like I'm going to do an insane amount of drugs and then write this.
I think that is also from a later perspective on it. He was a drug addict. Obviously, he abused drugs, but I don't think that was the point of that. It wasn't like, I'm on drugs, let me write this. It was, I'm writing this, but I still do drugs.
I saw a thing when I was looking up, stuff about him that said that when he wrote, oh God, I have it right here.
Where the Buffalo Roll.
Kentucky Derby is decadent and depraved. This was an article he wrote after
Yes.
the first time he ever took drugs. He went to
Mhm.
the Kentucky Derby, got fucked up, and then wrote a thing about it.
Mhm.
He thought it sucked, but then he got tons of great feedback on it where people loved it.
Mhm.
And he when after he wrote it, he was like, I'm never doing drugs and writing again. And then everybody loved it. So he's like,
So
all right,
now
well,
he
now
has
this is what
to.
I have to do.
Yeah.
It seems like he was the type of guy who understood very well his own mythology and character
Mhm.
and wanted to play up to it as much as humanly possible. He wanted to be
The legend.
the legend.
Yeah.
So that like when people would meet him, it's like, yes, this
He's
is
the
the guy I thought he was.
Yeah.
And he was very conscious of that and would do it to a point where it was self-destructive.
And I mean that became his legacy, right?
Yeah, well, it all goes to him blowing his own head off.
Yeah.
Oh, he killed himself?
Yeah.
Killed himself with a shotgun.
I didn't remember. I remember he died. I didn't remember he blew his head off.
So he also, like, his past, right? Before he was a reporter, he spent some time in the Air Force.
Yes. Where he was a journalist in the Air Force.
He was a journalist in the Air Force. That's where he found his
Wait,
craft.
hold on real quick. What is a journalist doing in the Air Force? Are they doing like state sponsored?
It's like
Did you
Full Metal
Yeah,
Jacket.
you ever see Full Metal Jacket?
I honestly haven't seen it in years, and I think I've only sat through the whole
It's a
thing
military
once.
reporter.
Guy writing,
Yeah.
for the the Air Force newspaper.
Okay.
And if they have to fight, then here's a gun, like, or in his case, a Air Force,
Yeah.
He wanted to be a pilot, was not able to.
I'm a pilot.
So
I
he became a
belong in the
reporter.
air.
Also, the man was obsessed with football and guns. He was as American as you can think.
Yes.
So,
He's a sportsman.
which is kind of why I hate hearing like he was the, picturesque of like that hippie and boomer movement. He kind of fell into that. He never sought out to be that. He was very anti-government.
I think you're basing that imagery on modern left wingers, whereas I think there was a lot more grit to the left in the 60s.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
And it was about being an active, like I'm
It's
all
about
around.
the Black Panther standing there with assault rifles.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Sure, maybe.
It's definitely there's a manliness to it. There's it's guys that read Jack Kerouac and fucking watched Easy Rider and decided that we
it
were
wasn't
fucking
blue-haired people
Right,
screaming and crying because the president lost the election. It's people.
It's people being like individualists
Mhm.
at the expense of society. Like fuck
Okay.
everything else.
Hedonistic pleasure.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yes, that's true. But yeah, that's a little bit of background for him.
All right.
And
Should
we
we
can
dive
kind
into
of
the
we can
movie?
dive into the movie. I guess how this happened was he got a job to write for, I believe, Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated, yeah.
And he had to go cover the Mint 400 or Mint 500 or something like that, like a dirt bike race. He actually
Yeah,
liked
it's something no one cares
He
about.
actually liked it, but like exactly.
So
He's
he
like,
was supposed.
This is just
so-
going to be a weekend for me.
And it was for
you know?
Rolling Stone magazine.
So
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Like that.
no. So it was for Sports Illustrated, the Derby
Oh.
thing.
Mhm.
What happened was he was supposed to write like 400 words on it.
And he came back with 60 pages.
Exactly. He wrote them a whole fucking thing, and they were like, "No."
Yeah.
This is not what we paid you for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he had to put it somewhere else. And I think then it went to Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
Mhm. Who was like, yeah, we'll use this.
Yeah, it was the Mint 400. That's
Yeah.
why he was sent there. But in the movie, it opens with a quote. A quote that Avenged Sevenfold would later use.
Yes.
Bat Country.
Bat Country,
He who
yeah.
makes-
Well, not just that. He who gets rid of the pain of...
He who makes a beast out of himself gets rid of the pain of being a man. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And that's how Avenged Sevenfold starts Bat Country.
Yeah. Which is also, Fear and Loathing. This is
Yeah.
Bat Country. Can't
Right.
stop here.
Exactly.
A lot of famous quotes from this.
They're on the edge of the desert. There's bats. He's running around with a fly swatter. He's being all wacky and high.
Yeah. And that's the whole movie.
They have either in the trunk yet.
There's Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire, they pick him up and
He
he's a weirdo.
is a hitchhiker. He is based off a real hitchhiker that they picked up.
Mhm.
That's what he looked like.
That's what he said.
Yeah, they picked up a hitchhiker randomly.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
saying.
Does it add anything? Nope.
No.
It's just a weird, funny thing. I
They,
guess.
So
they,
this is
they
showing-
mouth off to him and say wacky shit, and he gets scared and runs away.
He gets scared and runs away, which actually happened, showing that these two were not the best of people. They're weirdos, anti-societal,
But you're supposed to like
Um,
them.
and you kind of like them. Yeah, that's the trope there.
Uh-huh. Well, they're just out of control.
Yep. He calls Benicio Del Toro a Samoan.
Samoan. So he is.
He is
He
Samoan.
is a real guy.
No, he's Mexican.
His name's Oscar.
The actor, I mean, his character's a Samoan.
No, his character's a Mexican.
Really?
Yeah. The real guy's
Oh.
name is
Oscar.
Oscar.
Oh, he is Mexican.
Oscar Zeta Acosta.
Yeah.
And he's a Mexican dude.
Oh, okay.
That
He
dude,
actually has an interesting story.
He was a lawyer.
He was a lawyer.
Also a brutal criminal.
Yeah, he's actually like a dangerous fucking dude.
Yeah, he was a scary guy. Actually,
Well, he comes off that way in the movie.
Benicio Del
That's the
Toro.
best scene that's the best and
He's
only
great.
good scene in the entire movie.
When he's
In the diner.
Benicio's great in this.
that is a good scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's great in this.
Mhm.
Benicio's a great actor.
Very scary. And according to Hunter, he was like, yes, Oscar was a scary guy,
Mhm.
but he didn't like how he made him sloppy. He was
Like
like, no,
fat.
this guy was like at times well dressed and can turn on and
Mhm.
off that like craziness and be
Uh-huh.
very suave, pick up women.
Charming.
Well, he was a lawyer.
Charming. He was
Yeah.
a lawyer, but he was a dangerous man.
Yeah, you get no hint that this guy could ever be in a courtroom.
No.
In the movie.
Well,
Not at
they're
all.
both
Not at all.
wild
Yeah.
animals from
Yeah.
start to finish.
Right.
Yes.
They have no moments of humanity or being like good people in any way.
No, I don't even need them to be good people, but they're like not even human. You're
That's
right.
what I mean.
Wild animals is a good way to describe them.
They are
That-
wild animals. They're not fit for society.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm watching. I'm like, can someone kill them? The
Yeah.
world would be a better place if they were both shot in the fucking head.
Can someone
And guess what?
kill them?
Kind of happened.
So,
He took care of it himself.
No, Oscar.
Oscar. Well,
Oh, I don't know
all
about
right.
this.
So, all right.
Okay.
I want to talk about Oscar real quick.
Yeah.
So they met because Thompson wrote an article about Acosta for Rolling Stone, and they
Mhm.
became friends.
Yeah.
And they wanted to travel together, and they kind of couldn't because he's like, "You're a lawyer, I'm a writer. We can't kind of be together."
Mm.
So that's why they traveled under
Incognito.
their
Aliases.
incognito under the
Raul
aliases.
Duke.
Raul
Dr.
Duke,
Gonzo.
and Dr. Gonzo.
Yeah.
And they became friends and all this. Eventually, in 1974, I believe, Gonzo,
Gonzo. Oscar.
Gonzo the Great,
Gonzo the Great.
was shot out of a cannon into Mexico.
He was definitely shot.
Landed in a chicken coop.
probably.
Yeah. He was with Camilla.
Yeah.
He vanished,
Mhm.
and no one knows what happened to him
Mm.
since then. Some people think he was killed by the cartel.
I think
Others
so.
think he was overdosed.
Right.
Bottom line is, no one ever has seen or heard from him again.
Right.
The last,
And what year is that he vanished?
1974.
The last,
Not
I
long
believe,
after this.
You can correct me if I'm wrong. The last person who saw him was his son.
He called his son on the phone.
He called his son on the phone, and he was like getting on a boat or something with some people, and that was it.
Got to make some calls.
He was probably murdered. There's
Gotta
a
call some
good
people.
chance he was murdered. There was
Do it.
also he was the lawyer for, I believe, a couple of like murderers. He was
Mhm.
on like serious cases. If I could be mistaken, that's actually from Hunter's own mouth. He was like, we were federal criminals, but he was defending murderers.
Mhm.
So he's like, he's a criminal defending criminals.
Right.
And one reason also why they wanted to be under aliases was they didn't want to disbar him. So in the movie and the book, Hunter was like, we'll use the alias and we're not going to do anything. The book almost wasn't published because Oscar was like, no, I want credit for this. Like, I don't want
Yeah.
And Hunter was like, you'll be disbarred. You can't do that. We're
Yeah.
actually
You'll be
telling
disbarred.
the world that we're committing federal crimes. And Oscar was like, okay, we'll just put a picture on the back. And he got disbarred for it. Hunter was right.
he did.
He got disbarred for it. For being on
Well,
the
he
picture on
wanted
the
it.
back. And it's like, hey, that's what you get.
But
now-
he told you what was going to happen.
You're basically a lawyer for all these criminals.
Right.
And that could
Is
have
the
happened.
implication that he had sex with Christina Ricci?
Christina Ricci, he did have in the movie, yes. We'll get into it later. That's actually something completely different.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, they took 2 trips together and they were wrote into a book of this. And, you know, the guy vanished. After he disappeared, Hunter Thompson later wrote an article memorializing his friend called Where the Buffalo Roam, I believe.
Oh, and is that what the...
That's what
That's the Bill Murray-
that's
Bill
what the
Murray
Bill
thing's
Murray
about?
movie is kind of based on.
I see.
And Bill Murray's walking around with the pistol shooting things, and that's
Have you
very
seen
much
that?
like Hunter.
Have you seen that movie?
Oh, I'm sorry. The article
I've
is
seen parts of it.
the article is the Banshee screams for buffalo meat, and Where the Buffalo Roam
Mhm.
is
It's
a
an
line
adaptation.
is a line from the thing. But
Mhm.
yeah,
I should watch that. I haven't seen it in forever.
the Bill Murray
so-
version I like. I actually like
Yeah?
that movie. Yeah, and I kind of like. I don't hate the Rum Diaries, which is kind of the prequel to this.
Mhm.
You ever see that one?
Nope.
That's That's where Johnny Depp met Amber Heard. That's where his life started to ruin.
Well, that was... Yeah, he did that after this movie. As
It's
like,
a prequel.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it's young Hunter S. Thompson in, I believe, Cuba.
Uh-huh.
Right before
Maybe it might have been Brazil. I know he worked in Brazil.
Brazil.
So,
Speaking of Brazil, Terry Gilliam.
Terry Gilliam.
Terry Gilliam.
Let's talk about him.
Terry Gilliam,
So,
because I got some funny stuff that Hunter
This is
said
the
about this guy.
This is the perfect movie for Terry Gilliam to make
why?
Really?
because he's a boomer who hates America, and that is the perfect attitude for this to make. He's also good at shooting like weird nightmarish shit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he's perfect at that. And in fact,
It feels weird.
the
this
movie is as random and as slapdash as his fucking
As his
Monty
cartoons
Python
on Monty
are.
Python?
Yeah,
That's funny you said that.
So, Gilliam, obviously, he is...
and I love Terry Gilliam.
So do I.
Yeah.
He's one of the Monty Python guys who all 3 of us adore.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love his movies too. He's a great
Yes.
director.
And as far as those 3 or 4, what is it? 4 movies? Holy Grail. Did he directed Holy Grail, right?
No, didn't he have to split that?
I think
with,
he with Graham Chapman, maybe.
Yeah, no, with
Terry Jones. Terry Jones,
yeah.
So there's Holy Grail, the Meaning of Life, which I know we quote probably
great.
more than
Yeah.
anything.
Yep.
Life of Brian, another one.
and now
Yeah.
for something.
And now for something completely different, which is just sketches from the show. All of those are some of the funniest things ever made, in my
Yes.
opinion.
I'm with you. Yeah,
Then you've got Time Bandits, which is one of my favorite like children's movies.
Great,
Like as a
great.
kid growing up,
Yeah.
I fucking adore Time Bandits.
Brazil.
Brazil is fantastic.
Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
Munchausen is fantastic,
12
even though
Monkeys.
that's like a
12
bomb.
Monkeys is awesome.
12 Monkeys is legit one of the best sci-fi movies ever.
It's great.
And then you get this.
You get this.
And it's like, I didn't know it was him when I started watching it last night.
Yeah,
And then when
you were
when you told me, I was like, oh my God, it makes so much sense. Because some of the, you see some of the same actors pop up that are in the other things. But it's like, I don't get what this is. Like, it's not, there's no story. There's no point to it. We don't get anything out of it.
I really feel
It's literally like a boomer just jacking off at boomer shit.
I honestly feel like the movie was made. It's a movie I feel that was designed to be a cult movie for young drug addicts to find in their early teens and 20s and go, this is the fucking way, man. That's honestly what I feel the movie is for.
It's
That's
like a guy he's probably in his 40s at that point when he makes the movie. And he's just going, remember how good it used to be, bro? Yeah.
So he was born in 1940.
Remember how cool it used to be?
So yeah, he's 54 basically.
Yeah. So about this movie, the budget, fairly low, 18 million.
Yeah, made 13 million. It flopped.
Yeah, it flopped. The reason why it flopped, they said, because the book sales actually that month for Fear and Loathing was the highest ever. It was actually a top seller for a while because of the movie.
Of course.
The producers felt when they gave it to Universal, they were like, who is this for? They did like a nice little test.
Good question.
Yeah.
And they
I heard Hunter S. Thompson in the test screening went ape shit. Like,
hated it.
No, that's not what I heard.
He loved
hated
it.
a lot of it.
From what I heard is in the test screening, he was like, oh, I remember this. This is Bat Country. And like, he was like into the movie, remembering what happened in real life.
Well, he was probably fucked up.
Yeah.
There's certain things he loved, there's certain things he hated. The guy from Universal was very worried because it's like, who's it for? And people like surfers, stoners, and smart people. That's what they said. And he goes,
Smart people.
I swear to God, this is what the producer said.
Because they throw in little
And I
things
go,
like
"Holy
imagery
crap."
of Vietnam.
Yeah.
And Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon's a fascist, man. And like someone who's like a midwit is going to be like, that means something. That's important. You know? Someone who thinks they're intelligent but isn't actually is going to look at that and go, yeah, I like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. This speaks to me.
It's saying something.
Two more things about how Hunter felt about this.
Some people are going to absolutely hate me and you from this.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. 100%.
Absolutely.
He said, now this is a little rating. You might have to bleep this out. He said, Johnny's
Can
mannerisms.
you say it like Hunter?
I probably can't. I don't think I could do a
Can
Hunter.
you try?
I
Johnny.
can't. I don't think I can. You know? He said Johnny was prancing around like a queer. He said he hated that. He's like, that's not him.
As he was prancing around.
As
Like
he was prancing.
queer, probably.
He also said Terry Gilliam. He had something to say about him.
Mm-hmm.
He said Terry was a whiny cartoonist for putting homosexual undertones.
I'll bleep that one word.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
a direct
And
quote from
I
the
was
man.
like, whoa.
Can you say it again without the slur? I'm leaving it in. I just want to.
The slur?
You said a word that we can't have. You know.
That's what he said, though.
I
Just
know,
bleep
but
it out.
I'm gonna bleep. I'm gonna bleep it. All right, just say it again. I kind of missed the end.
He said he was a whiny cartoonist for putting homosexual undertones in it between the two guys.
Mhm.
I didn't get homosexual undertones. Did you?
I didn't either.
That's also why I was very confused, because Hunter saw if you were like just close to someone, like if I just put my arm around Ant, it's a homosexual undertone. Like
so
we're talking,
he wasn't
like,
comfortable with his sexuality at all because he's repressed. I'm just making aspersions.
I don't know, maybe. I found that very odd, considering, but yeah.
You know who loves Hunter S. Thompson?
Who?
Q.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Benicio
Great actor.
gained 40 pounds for this role.
Yeah.
That was not a fat suit. He was a big
He's
guy.
a big fat guy.
You ever see?
And he does a great job. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just.
He was a
There's no
Bond
meat.
henchman.
Was he?
Yeah, he played Dario
And what?
in License to Kill, and he's young. He's like 18. I think it might be his first movie.
Is that the last?
Timothy Dalton?
Oh, I thought it was Roger Moore.
No, he plays like the nephew of Sanchez. That's the villain, and he's like a evil henchman. And Bond ends up putting him into like a meat grinder thing. It's fucking awesome. But yeah, that's his first movie. But he's a great actor. I love him in everything. Usual Suspects.
Yeah,
The Last Jedi.
He's the best thing in that. The Last Jedi is the best of the new Star Wars trilogy. How about that?
You really want people to hate you, huh?
I'm telling the truth.
Wait, refresh my memory because I'm not good with this. Which one was the blue milk?
That was The Last Jedi. And that was The Last Jedi.
The Force Awakens is the worst one, and that's the one people like. Because I blame Force Awakens
for creating the other two.
For creating the other two. And Last Jedi was put in a spot. They did the only thing they could do. Try to blow up the entire thing to create something new.
Yeah, why pretend anymore? Let's just go full.
Well, it was already
crazy.
ruined with Force Awakens, so he tried something. And then they were like, no, we'll just, undo all of this. And, then they did the third one, which is fucking abysmal.
Right. So, the story. Back to the movie.
So, you may not know this about...
Oh, George.
Oh, God.
You're talking about Star Wars. Yeah. George is here.
You may not know this about Benicio Del Toro.
What's that, George?
His character in the movie was a gambler.
Okay.
And on his native planet, they gamble.
Okay.
And they play
Casino Planet?
He's visiting the casino planet, but he also gambled on his home planet.
Okay. What does he gamble on?
They gambled a game. It was similar to rock, paper, scissors, but they used their genitals. Each person has 3 sets of genitals.
Is that how it goes on them? So triple organ.
And they rotate. Yes, they're triple organs. And you put out, like balls, penis, or your vagina.
What beats what?
Balls beats vagina.
Okay.
Oh, no, vagina beats balls.
Oh, right.
Penis beats vagina.
Makes sense.
And balls beats...
What does vagina beat? Oh, vagina beats balls. Okay.
And balls beats penis.
Okay.
And they would play it. And the loser of the game, typically, would have...
Why was that the funniest word?
They would typically have to drink the juices of the victor out of a shot glass.
Wow.
So
and it was real gambling.
So if you lose, you have to
only
Well, it's blue.
It's just cookie.
It's like a blue milk.
Cookie. Oh my God, George.
It's like a blue milk. And that's what they played on his native planet.
What's the planet called?
Cumdalinger.
Cumdalinger. Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
See, here I was thinking that you had been kind of sidelined for that movie, and you really didn't have much to do with it.
They contacted me.
Yeah.
They said, "Look, we know you're out of the universe, but would you mind filling in just backstory on some of these characters?"
So you got hard hearing the word
I said, yes, let's do it. And I actually had some suggestions about Ray.
Really?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, what did they go with it?
They didn't go with it on this or Rogue One. So they actually, both actresses, their front teeth are not bucked.
They're not buck teeth.
But because of me, I went and I said, what if we gave these British actresses kind of like a cute little overbite and we made them bigger?
Bigger teeth.
I like bigger teeth.
Yeah, bigger and bigger.
It's bigger to bite with.
Yeah.
Right.
You like biting, George?
I do.
Oh.
Yeah.
George
I like to get nibbles on.
Explain his kinks.
I like when I'm
George
bit.
has kinks.
Bit.
Yeah. It reminds me of when I would lay with Wookiees. And I would let them bite me.
Oh, no.
You would lay with Wookiees?
Yeah, we call them love nibbles. And they'd be all over my body.
Aren't Wookiees like 6-foot men in suits?
I would go, Chewbacca, can I have some nibbles?
Oh, I don't like the way you do that. It sounds like Uncle Paul.
Yeah, it does. Some nibble.
No, I'm Uncle George. You see,
Right.
it's like poetry because it
It
rhymes.
rhymes.
Right,
Yeah,
right, right.
yeah.
It's really all about family.
And that's what's really
Yeah.
Freak.
So
Beautiful,
Benicio, I thought when you watch the movie, he imbues this in his character perfectly, and the jittery energy
yeah.
can only be from someone who has played several games of
Blue milk.
cumma drinkers,
Come a drinkers.
which they play on cum dinglers. So I'm gonna go now.
Bye, George.
Oh, no.
It's
Bye.
nice to see you again.
It's been a while.
Thank
Yeah.
Very nice of you.
Guys, I just took a piss.
Oh, you missed George Lucas
No!
again.
You seem to always miss him. You're always right there. And you just fuck.
Okay.
Great.
I don't even know what the fuck we were talking about.
Some boomer shit.
Some boomer stuff.
Benicio Del Toro.
Do you guys like that other drug movie from the 90s with the ass to ass?
That one is good.
Requiem for a Dream.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it.
That one is good because
But
it
we can't
shows
do it 'cause
drugs
it's not
ruin your
true.
life.
It's not true.
Jennifer Connelly, one of the hottest women who ever lived.
Yeah.
Sure.
I haven't seen that in many, many years. I really don't remember anything that happens in it
Oh.
other than the ass to ass.
Well, that's the main thing to remember.
Mm.
And I think Jared Leto loses his arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From infection.
And the
Viral
mother,
infection.
like the teeth or refrigerator comes to life or something.
She gets like
Electroshock.
electro.
It was
treatment.
when we were
She's a psycho.
kids, our junkie friends loved those two movies. Requiem for a Dream
So-
and Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Requiem for a Dream is a better movie. Fear and Loathing, it's the movie itself is but the actual stories behind it are better, like the
Mhm.
reasoning and everything like that.
Right.
And that's why Hunter said it himself, this movie isn't a drug movie. It's not a
Bullshit.
he said it's a pro-freedom movie.
Uh-huh.
That's what he said.
Yeah, because
and
the fascists are trying to keep you from checking into hotel rooms
Right.
like a normal person.
Yeah. The fascists are
the pigs want you to go through airport security.
so okay, that's why
Private business that doesn't want you
this is
destroying
also
their
what
property.
I wanted to
That
bring up.
asshole car rental guy that doesn't want you driving drunk.
Right,
What a
right.
scumbag.
what a
Right.
fucking loser.
There was
You're
something
part of the system, man.
left out of the book and the movie, which he said, and I think it kind of
Wait, it was left out of the book and the
and
movie?
Yeah. So the
So
book,
you didn't write it. How can you blame the movie for not putting it in?
Okay, I won't explain it.
No. You understand?
What the fuck?
Let him talk, you fuck.
Jesus Christ, dude! I let you rant bullshit for fucking 10 minutes. The book was written from recording, so he's walking around the movie with a recorder. That's what he would do because he gets
Yeah.
fucked up and he can't remember.
You can't remember what he did, yeah.
But the recordings were there. A lot of the conversations taking place over the weekend were about Nam. So Vietnam was a huge part
Sure,
of this. And in fact, it's probably the main focal point of why he
Of what
was
they're obsessed
the way
with.
he was. Yeah. So that had to be taken out of the book and the movie because then it becomes very
Vietnam
heavy, you know?
is like
That's something we actually have to talk about here.
what hippies, will defend themselves with. You know,
Yes.
it's like, yeah, you guys were right. Vietnam was not good. It's fucking horrible, and it's the government overreaching and being evil. You nailed it. Good job. But that doesn't mean you rip down all of civilization because of that. You know?
Yeah, maybe you just
Yeah.
maybe you just fix that one thing. It was when I saw the leak in my house, I knew I needed to burn my house down and become a Marxist. I knew that destroying the entire system was the only way.
I guess we have the gift of hindsight here too.
100%.
And the reason why, because I think you two, as harsh as you are on this, are not completely valid in saying some of these things.
Okay.
And I'll explain why. Yes, Vietnam was evil. And having the perspective that you're getting recruited for a proxy war is pretty horrible. Because if we were
Yeah.
recruited for a proxy war, we'd probably have stronger feelings about the government.
I
On
don't. I
top
have
of that-
no.
Hold on,
I don't
hold on,
blame
hold on,
draft
hold on.
dodgers.
I'm not
You know?
talking about draft dodgers either.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just talking about the horror of your best friend being drafted to go to war for something that's bullshit.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
that's
fucking horrible.
Well,
right?
if it's you, my day would be made.
Let's talk about the second. Let's talk about the second part. The government oversight thing, where it's like, oh, we have to fix this one part. Well, when Hunter's talking about fascism, was he too far off? Considering we live in a security state right now,
Yes,
was he far off?
because he's pointing his finger in the wrong direction.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Because the same guy will sit there and be like JFK is God and fucking he's
Worshiping the big state.
literally
Right, he still had faith in the system.
The
in a
guy
weird
who's
way,
like
yeah.
Jimmy Carter got him elected pretty much. You know,
Right.
like if you don't recognize that the evil is completely pervasive all around.
Mhm.
Like, then I'd be like,
The
yeah,
only
you're right.
The only solution is more evil.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Because at the end of the day, all these fucking pro-freedom boomers, they're all fucking Marxists.
Yeah.
Yes.
Every one of
Yeah,
these guys
yeah.
became communist professors.
So it's like, none of them actually believe in freedom.
Yeah.
They're all goddamn fucking
okay.
commies.
I had to stop for a sec. I was like, he didn't become a cop. No,
No, not him specifically.
I got you.
You know?
Yes.
It's like, these are the people that ruin the fucking country to this day.
They honestly are the most destructive force in human history. Like, they put World War
murder,
II
like,
to shame.
Yeah.
Like, there's no recovering from what they've done. They've poisoned generations of
Yes.
people.
They've completely infected the entire nation.
Yes.
The Cold War is lost in this moment, in like the movie. Like in 1960s. It's already lost.
No,
Because
well,
they're already infecting society.
yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. In the long run.
Yeah. Like if the battle is lost before like
The shadow that these fucking people cast is so long we still live in it.
yeah.
And will till we die.
Our kids will be living in it.
Yeah.
Anyway, this fucking movie. All right. So
Love it.
So they keep doing drugs. Tobey Maguire runs away, and now they're in Old Vegas. And I like the shots of Old Vegas.
Yeah, that's all nice.
Yeah,
All this-
they
yep.
actually shot in a real casino,
Mhm.
It's
and
the circus casino.
they were given certain tables, and they were told the extras have to gamble.
Okay.
So the extras were made to gamble in the casino,
Like, for real.
Yeah, because I guess they didn't want to
they
lose
win?
money.
I guess they
I don't
won.
know.
I guess they lost. I guess they did
Probably
it all. It's all real.
they probably lost.
So this is a shocker. They do more drugs.
Carousel bar. So they go to the circus like tent casino,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Well, they have the whole check-in scene where they're all fucked up.
They found a person who worked at the hotel to describe how they were.
Okay.
And that's what they were like. They were just weird, drugged out people who were like making everyone uncomfortable and had to escort them to their room. That's all. Nothing crazy
How
happened.
exciting. Let's make a movie about it.
Nothing really crazy there.
I literally see that when I walk through Penn Station.
just them doing drugs.
I literally watch this movie every day when I walk through Penn Station. It's just open air heroin addicts fucking wandering around like zombies. That's it. That's what this is.
Kind of, yeah.
If you take out, like, we're seeing it from their perspective, I don't give a fuck about their perspective. The real perspective is the guy sitting in the room watching two fucking morons go like this.
The worker
Wait, oh, careful.
the workers that have to deal with this fucking
Yeah.
bullshit.
When you take away the hallucinations, like
Yeah.
that, the movie
That's
is
the
just
whole movie.
Yeah, they look like the inflatable tube arm people.
Yeah.
They're really getting real insight on the nature of the cosmos with that fucking bullshit.
So they go to a bar and they see dinosaurs and monster people.
Lizard people. Yes.
And it looks great. You know, it looks good.
cool. Yeah. I think that's
It reminded me of the Mario movie.
Much better film.
I would rather watch that.
the Mario movie.
I love mud.
It's dirty and it's
And clean
clean at the same time.
Oh, the okay.
The original.
The original. You got it. Yeah. The Super Mario Bros. Movie. I'm like, yeah, I watch that any day.
Oh, what the CG
The new one.
thing?
Yeah, the new one was great.
Did you see that?
No, I did
It's
not.
fantastic.
Dude, it's like top 10.
Especially like as someone who grew up playing the games, you're
You're gonna love it.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna love it. They did a fantastic job. The lizard thing. He said that that's obviously he hated the fact that Terry Gilliam never did these drugs because he's not going to portray it correctly. And he was like, I basically was telling Oscar there's lizards all over when I was fucked up just to fuck with him. And Oscar had a freak out and like
He saw it.
he started
In
seeing
the movie, it's kind of the other way around.
it's the opposite. Yeah. So Terry kind of made it more artistic than he wanted it to be.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to make an
'Cause he's actually
entertaining
trying to
movie
make it
out of
entertaining.
bullshit.
Yeah.
He
In
is
which-
given like an impossible task.
In which, once again,
I'm not joking. I don't think, and this is a compliment to Terry, I don't think any director could make this into a compelling like story or movie.
Well, it's not there.
And I think he's the only one to even get at least something interesting in there.
the producer said it's like impossible content. Like there's how are you going to make a film out of this? You know, it's like, and that's why it failed.
Like
you
I
know?
get if someone could theoretically read the ramblings in the book and get something out of it, because I assume that there's more going. I haven't read it, but I assume that there's more going on in his writing than what we see on the screen.
Well, it's a commentary on the American dream in the worst place. That's what it is. So Vegas, like no matter what,
Right.
it's
supposed
kind
to be
of
a city of vice.
it's the city of sin,
Yeah.
right? It's the worst place. So
Did you
they
come up
went-
with that?
Yeah, it's a city of sin, worst place on earth, and this is a commentary on just America. That's all it is. So yeah, how do you really put that into a film? That's tough.
Yeah, I don't know.
So in the movie, we get to the part where they go to the dirt race, and this is like a funny visual gag. He's trying to walk around with the beer in like the dirt storm,
Yeah.
and like it's just filling up with dirt. The
Yeah,
whole glass.
dust.
And he's
It's
like,
funny.
Fuck this, I'm not doing
He ends up
this.
firing the photographer who wants to do his job. What an asshole! The guy's trying to do what he was paid to get there and do.
Yeah. He can't hang.
Yeah, fucking jerk off trying to work.
I want to. I just had a thought and a memory. Like, you love this as a young man. This movie,
Yeah, I like it.
and I think part of that may play into some of your attitudes at the time that I'm remembering. So when you worked at the stock market, you were a what was it? You commodities trader, right? And there was like a job opening, and you were offering it to one of our friends. And
he had to get sober though.
but you were like, I couldn't offer it to like one of you guys, me and Brian, because you just wouldn't be able to hang with that crew. They're just too wild.
100% you weren't.
Yeah.
You disagree after hearing those stories?
No, I don't. You're right. I couldn't have hung with them. But it's about doing a job, not fucking like jerking off.
But that's
I don't
what
know.
really matters
Yeah.
at the job, man.
But I'm just, but like when you said like they fired the photographer guy because he couldn't hang.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah.
But they didn't. It's not because he couldn't hang.
It is because he couldn't hang.
No, it wasn't.
Because he wanted to do the
He
job.
wanted to do his job.
He was
And Hunter
doing-
S. Thompson's like, you're an asshole.
Yeah, because
For wanting to work.
You're trying to take pictures in a dust storm. You're not going to get pictures. This
He
is
said,
stupid
I'm
work.
adjusting my light, trying to make it work.
He goes, I'm going to try to switch the lenses until I can get it to see in the dust storm.
It
He's
may
like,
be-
this is stupid.
It may be a very hopeless task.
Yeah, it's a hopeless task.
But-
you're jerking off trying
but
to
the
do
guy has a job to do and he's
Yeah.
trying to do
Yeah.
it.
And Hunter was like, no, you're not going to be able to succeed. This is stupid. And went to go do something else.
I'm going to do drugs now. That's much better. So now they get high again. Shocker.
Shocker.
And,
Shocker.
and they see Debbie Reynolds is there, and she has a sold out show. And
Missing Cameron Diaz.
did I skip that?
Yeah.
I thought that's after.
No.
Oh yeah, Cameron Diaz is in the
Cameron Diaz is
in the elevator.
an elevator, and
Okay.
it just shows how Oscar's like a murderous person, kind of.
He's being very intimidating.
Okay.
He walks around with a knife and he threatens the photographer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like that, apparently. He would just be
Yeah.
like threatening people.
So now they want to go see Debbie Reynolds. And they decide that what they must do, because they're high, is get into Debbie Reynolds, and they don't have tickets, and the clerk is very nice to them,
Mhm.
and he decides to let them in if they'll sit in the back and not smoke. They get thrown out within seconds because they're wild fucking animals. And at this point,
That's the joke, though.
I know.
Yeah.
At this point, I wrote down in my notes, I go, where is the mob to kill these jerk-offs? I'm always told that like Vegas was built by
Oh, the
mob.
mafia.
And I'm like, where's the mafia?
They were kind of gone by this point.
We needed them back.
By 71.
The whole time I'm like, I just wish someone would show up and just Joe Pesci him and put his head in a fucking
71, they were
Vice.
gone?
I really don't know. I'm kind of
No,
talking
they
out my
weren't.
ass.
They were there. 71?
I don't know.
They were there.
Like Luciano was gone.
Mean,
Meyer
it's
Lansky's
not
dead.
Like the mob is
Yeah.
not
Monkey was
people.
dead.
The
Yeah.
mob isn't like 2 or 3 people.
Yeah, I don't know.
They were there.
I'm sure they were there.
They
Yeah.
were there. The movie Casino exists.
Yeah, I'm just
Oh,
like,
yeah, good point.
I'm just like, can someone fucking kill
You
them?
firing me? No, I'm not firing you. I'm firing you.
This scene
Ace is high.
that is coming up when they're in the hotel room.
Okay.
The scene that you like, it's kind of like where this leads to. So they're hanging out in a hotel. They're doing a bunch of drugs. They're ordering room service. They're destroying the place, right? The way it looks is great. Like the way the lighting is set up, the way the camera angles,
Yeah.
very Terry Gilliam.
Did we miss Mini-Me? Did they run the Mini-Me yet?
He pops up for like
Yes,
half a
he
second.
was in the Vern Troy,
Troyer.
Vern Troyer, excuse me, and also I believe Penn and Teller are in it.
Penn
Penn
Jillette.
is there,
Penn
yeah.
is there, yeah. So they're in the casino.
The true horrors of Vegas.
Yeah.
Look at the comedian. He's going to tell you F you and show you bullshit. Those are 2 Penn shows.
Yes.
It's good. It's good.
Penn is like the ultimate embodiment of this whole attitude.
Of Vegas, yeah.
Of this movie.
Of the movie. They do have a lot of cameos.
There's a lot, yeah. Does John Ritter show up? Was that John Ritter?
From The Problem Child?
Yeah, and Three's Company? Or am I crazy?
I don't know.
I thought I saw John Ritter in there.
He's dead.
He is dead, yeah. I'm
Died
not seeing him. I
tragically.
must have been wrong.
I don't remember how though. It was like some
He had a heart attack.
some freak accident.
He had a heart attack on the set of 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughters.
I'm shocked that you got that just off the top of your head. That was very
Yeah,
good.
I used to watch it. Yeah.
Oh.
Really? What are the 8 rules?
They never laid them out specifically. It was basically like his daughters were really hot.
Every episode's one rule.
8-episode show.
It's a mini series.
Yeah. And do you know who
it's like Rich Man, Poor Man.
Dad in front of the camera just says one rule, done. It's like a minute.
They tried to replace him after he left with like it was either his wife's brother who came to
Be
stay
home
with the
before
family,
11.
and it was David Spade.
David Spade.
Yeah,
I like David
Dan
Spade.
last. The daughters I thought were really hot though. That's
Mhm.
why I liked it. Kaylee Kuko was one of them.
Oh,
Oh.
wasn't she on The Big Bang Theory?
Yeah, this
Yeah,
was her
yeah.
breakout. This was her
Mm.
first role.
God, the Big Bang Theory.
All right, let's talk about
is that
the
a
hippies
thing?
doing more drugs.
Well, let's talk about Hunter throwing an orange at Benicio's head.
It's funny.
He wants to be killed at
He's
the
on-
height of White Rabbit.
He's on like a giant sheet of acid. He wants to be electrocuted at the height of White Rabbit. Yes. And he's like, okay, I'll do it for you.
yeah,
And he takes an orange and pegs
Throw-
him in the head.
yeah, and then
Very funny. Very funny.
yeah. That is funny.
Yeah. And now they're together and he smokes weed and he's imagining like Jefferson Starship
He goes
Airplane.
back to his past
in San Francisco.
in
yes.
San Francisco. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is like a 60s club. And
And Flea shows
Flea,
up.
Flea
yeah.
is there.
Flea is there.
And
And they're-
also, Hunter has a cameo in this scene.
Does he?
Yeah, he's the old. He says, "Oh, it's me."
He goes,
and it's him.
there I
It's
am.
the real
and he goes,
guy.
oh shit, there I
Uh,
was. And
Yeah.
it's him sitting there.
Yeah,
Hunter said it was a terrible experience.
he didn't like being in the
He
movie
hated being on set for 8 hours for like 2
for that.
seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how movies are made.
Elaine, you don't
Sorry
like
you
the
could-
movie?
You didn't like the movie. I hated it. Just
Enough,
die already.
enough about the stupid desert. What did she say?
Yeah, enough about the stupid Just die already. You're fired. Like, great. I'll meet you outside. So they're doing drugs in the fucking bathroom and they're like sucking acid or Flea starts sucking acid
off of his
off of his
sleeve.
jacket, and some straight asshole, what a fucking jerk off, comes out of the bathroom as like, look at this weird shit happening, and he goes to the bar, and Hunter's like, that's gonna stay with him the rest of his life.
Yeah.
He'll be fucked up and realizing he never knows what pleasures we know of sucking acid off a man's jacket in the bathroom. That fucking asshole working a job and living a life. What a fucking jerk.
I don't think you got the joke. It's a joke. It was just a joke.
It's a joke, but there's meaning behind it.
I agree with Brian 100%.
Yeah.
I know, but it's just a joke.
I understand the joke,
there was
and
no
it's
message. It was
it's
just a
funny.
joke.
Yes.
It's
I'm a
just
guy who
funny
pulled
joke.
my pants down to my ankles
Yes.
at a urinal at a truck stop to
Yeah.
have my bare ass out one piss.
Right. Just to be weird. Yeah.
I get the joke.
That's the joke. You did the joke.
It's funny.
I'll tell you what. I actually think like we kind of, our little friend group kinds to revel in bizarre shit a lot.
Yeah.
Not that I'm going to bring up some of the stories, but if you told them to like outsiders, it's nothing, you know, like they wouldn't, you had to be there. You know what I mean? Like him telling the sleeve thing, the acid on the sleeve. It's like, Brian's right. The purpose of it is to be like, that guy isn't in with the cool guys.
He says
I
it.
think-
Yeah, you know?
No, he doesn't. I
Yes,
think
he does. He said that guy will return to his life of
Yeah.
not doing drugs, never knowing what he's missing.
No,
Yeah.
you're wrong.
He
That's
says
not the
that.
line. That's not the line. You're wrong. You're
I don't
actually
think
wrong.
that's the line verbatim.
It's something to that effect.
He says, now every restaurant behind any door, he's worried that guys getting weird kicks in like flannel shirts will be there. That's all he said.
Yeah.
He's just like, he was weirded out what was happening. And
And
now
it's
he's
actually
gonna,
funny.
It's funny. It's
It
just
is
a funny
funny.
joke. It
But
wasn't.
yeah,
it had nothing to do
you're
with
right.
that guy being a straight man. It had nothing to do with
Yes,
it.
it did.
It did.
It didn't.
He's a square.
That I have to disagree with.
He's a square. He doesn't get it, man.
That I have to disagree with.
That's what he like. If he was into the acid, he could have sucked on the sleeve too.
I think it's a little more tongue in cheek than you're making it,
Probably.
but there is the overtone.
Look, I understand.
There's always an
the-
overtone of like, we're better than them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I
Yes.
understand the
Yes.
joke. I get the joke. It's
Yes.
funny.
Yes.
It's funny to walk out of a bathroom and see some
Yes.
bizarre shit. I understand. But the next scene is the guy at the bar. The next shot is the guy at a bar by himself, racked with like
Like,
this
what?
image tortured. Like it has ruined
It's
his
just-
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a funny joke.
I understand the joke, but the meaning behind it, I'm saying, is look how fucking cool this is.
I think you're wrong. I do think you're wrong there.
All right, we'll have to disagree.
I'm not saying you're wrong with everything here, but with that one, it was just a funny joke that the guy walked in, saw Flea licking acid off someone's arm, and now he's like, behind any door that could be happening. That's weird. That's funny.
And it's because he's a straight man. He's
And
not down
it
with
just
the movement.
ruins his life. And what do you mean he's a straight man? He's drinking at a bar. What do you mean?
He's dressed in a suit.
I think his character is actually, because I happened to pause. I was
was
watching this
just
on
a- it was
Amazon, and I
just a
paused the
dude.
movie at this scene, and his character is called the Stockbroker.
It's just a dude.
So
Anyway, all right.
it's just a dude.
It's just a guy.
You gave him a backstory.
Yeah. You made that into something that you want it to be. You want it to actually fit the narrative that, like, yeah, this is an entire critique on like being a loser, not doing drugs.
That's the scene.
That's actually not the
Yes,
scene. It's
no,
just a
that is
joke.
the scene.
It's just a joke.
It's not just a joke. Everything in a movie has a purpose. The way the guy
That's BS. Not everything in the movie has a purpose. There are movies that have no purpose.
look at how visual.
Skinamarink.
That's barely a fucking movie. It's shots of corners. By the way, Variety, they voted that as the best horror movie of the year.
They're right.
If you want to watch Skinamarink, just go stare in your fucking corner for 2 hours.
Are you not horrified in that theater?
I was horrified I went to see it. But
You weren't horrified that you spent money on that?
no, the way the guy is dressed, the look on his face, he's portrayed like a square guy. He's not down with them.
I agree with you. It's just
That's the
that's just
point.
the
I
joke.
think it's less that and more just this is wacky.
It's everything.
But you have to understand that the people that made the movie feel that way. Like that, like what you're saying is how they think in their
Yes,
daily
and they're
lives.
portraying that in the movie.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes. But I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of living in both worlds with this conversation. I'm talking myself into a corner.
But I understand it's a joke. I understand it's a joke.
I think you two have very hard feelings about this.
We have strong feelings about this era and the people
and
in
drugs
it.
and
And drugs. And I think that if you are going to have those feelings and
yeah,
analyze every single scene,
you're gonna get mad. You're gonna find a way to get mad at
that
it.
don't exist.
I agree with
that's
you.
one
Yes.
of them.
But you know what? I will make the counter of this.
Uh-huh.
And this is what I'll say. I watched a movie yesterday in theaters. I paid to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking loved the movie. I thought it was excellent. It's going to be on my top 10 for the year. And I thought that the movie had a message I completely disagree with.
It was vile.
That I think is vile and like an evil message to put forth in the world. So I can look past stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I can accept something for what it is.
Right.
So this movie is like, there's just nothing there. And like what they're presenting is like this weird abstract thing that they want you to try to take something from. And I'm looking at the visual cue of a straight-laced balding dude coming out in a suit with two fucking weird hippie dudes on drugs sucking each other's sleeves. And like
it's great because we're getting so in the weeds with this scene, and it's such a small nothing scene.
But I think it also is very descriptive of how you guys are seeing this, because
you're right.
If I actually said, "Hey, let's do a comedy scene," right? I'm eating s'mores. Chocolate falls on my arm, and Ant starts to joke around and lick it off my arm. It's gay. It's stupid. And then Gideon walks in and is horrified, goes back to his desk, and is sitting there horrified, thinking that could be happening right next door. Right next door. That is the exact same joke, with or without the drugs, with or without the hippie stuff. That's all it is. It's just a joke.
No, but you're taking a joke out of context.
I'm the one?
Yes, because it's a body.
I'm giving it no context.
It's a body of work that is informing what you're seeing in this joke. And all the visual cues and everything leading up to it and everything preceding it is about that the straight-laced guy will never understand their carnal pleasures and delights of being on acid and doing drugs.
But they didn't say
they
that.
see it. You're missing. It's not just carnal pleasures and delights. They see themselves as like advanced,
Weirdos.
evolved
They are,
beings.
yes.
Yeah.
He's below them.
Yeah.
Because he's not a fucking junkie.
He hasn't expanded his mind. He's not seeing the world for what it really is.
He'll never know what he's missing.
Yeah, right.
That's the fucking point. I
Yes.
get the joke. It's funny. It's a funny visual. A guy comes out of a restroom, sees something bizarre, goes about their day, and then later they tell their friends,
and it's like,
I
that
saw
was
this
fucking weird
thing.
Yeah. But what they don't understand is what they were doing actually was important to like the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like,
that might be a deeper meaning, but I don't think that's what they meant here. I really don't. I think it's like, look at these weirdos doing something. They freaked out somebody who doesn't know what's going on.
I don't think
it's a funny
Terry
joke
Gilliam
to
thought
put
this
in.
much
It's
about
a funny
the
joke.
scene.
No, I don't think so. Do you think are you supposed to be on their side?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Wrong. Hunter actually said it's a movie about two guys ruining their lives.
When did he say this?
He said it, but he's not Terry Gilliam.
In 2002, Criterion, what I watched, he was like,
you heard his voice say it.
He goes, the producer said, "What do you think about, like, do you think," because it resonates with young people. That's the problem.
Yeah.
He goes, "Why do you think?" He goes, "Do you think it's the drugs and that it's a problem with that?" He goes, "Honestly, seeing that, it's just two people like making their lives harder." You know,
nothing bad happens to them. There's no punishment. Everything works out for them, basically. There's no crime and punishment. There's no comeuppance. They're violent savages that like young people watch and respect and like for whatever reason. It's honestly a dangerous movie. I'm not joking. Like
nobody respects the character of Oscar. Nobody respects Dr. Gonzo.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be on his side. You're supposed to be on Hunter's
you like Johnny
side.
Depp. They're the same fucking person. One is slightly more violent. You know, the same fucking thing. It's the same shit. All right. I'm such a stick in the mud.
That's
All
okay.
Um,
That's why I picked this. I knew it would get a rise out
All
of you
right.
guys.
So there's more hippie worship after Gonzo leaves. And then I thought it was John Ritter, but it's not. And now the cops show up, and it's Gary Busey. And he pulls over Johnny Depp, and he makes a pass at him.
And he knows who he is.
Does he?
No.
He sees his ID, and I think he realizes he's like a famous guy.
Oh, I didn't get that.
When
No.
after he pulls over. No? He just wants to kiss him.
So Hunter hated this scene because obviously he's
He
very
doesn't like the gay.
really doesn't like gay people. But what happened in this is Gary Busey improv that scene.
Oh yeah.
Like he was supposed to get pulled over and tell him like Johnny Depp was supposed to get one over on him.
Uh-huh.
And what Busey turned it into this like weird scene.
Yeah.
And they were like, we'll go with that one. That's funny.
Yeah, where he's like trying to fuck him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he never had a run.
I'm really lonely out here.
He likes the fact that he got one over on the cop, but they never had a run in with the cop
Uh-huh.
at this point. Which
And we never see
is-
if he does kiss him.
No.
It's implied that he didn't.
I thought it was implied that he did.
Me
Or maybe
too.
he did.
Because I think
Maybe
he
he
says
did.
the cop had his way with me.
Yeah, I felt like I was raped.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So now he is like looking for somewhere to go, and he sees Tobey Maguire again, and he
Freaks out,
and he
yeah.
freaks out and runs away.
So he tries to call. So what's happening is he's running away from the hotel bill. They don't have money to pay for this. They burned the casino. That's what they did.
Yep.
And
supposedly they did that, but Sports Illustrated paid for the bill
yeah,
on
I
this
believe
on
that.
the first trip.
Yeah, I believe that. They also paid for the car. They didn't steal the car. That was a
That's
paid-for
another
car,
fucking scene I hate.
which is it's stupid. They didn't steal it. They Sports Illustrated paid for it.
But I feel like you're supposed to look at the car dealer guy and be like, look at this asshole trying to stop them from doing their drugs and like driving drunk in the rental car.
I don't know if you're supposed to be like, look at this asshole, but you're just supposed to like respect them for being so brutal. That it's less about putting the guy down and more about building them up as like heroic in
I
their
guess.
freedom loving.
Maybe not so heroic, but also just chaotic.
Yeah,
I think chaotic,
but through
is
chaos,
a better
but it's almost like a heroic chaos. Their blatant flaunting of every social norm and rule is supposed to be what is admirable about them.
But is it also a statement on the idea of Vegas itself as a place where people go?
I don't think the movie is concerned whatsoever with Vegas and what that means. I think
they
it's
commit
way
a
more
bunch of
concerned.
federal crimes that go unnoticed. They face no repercussions and they're welcomed.
Yeah, but it's not
everywhere.
it's not an expose
Being
of
evil.
the Vegas police force. It's like
No, not so much the police force, but more so that evil can be accepted
in certain places.
In certain places, yes. Gambling, prostitution at this time,
You don't
incessant drug use.
You don't think that would have flown in a hotel somewhere else?
No. They're not getting away with that anywhere else.
Yes, they would have.
I don't think that's what the movie's trying to get across.
No.
I think that's one of the messages that,
Maybe.
evil is acceptable depending on where you are.
They don't view what they're doing as evil.
100%. There is evil things in this movie that are presented as evil, and they get away with it.
Like pedophilia,
threatening of murder, like all that shit. Like the best scenes in the movie is that, and they get away with it. The bad guys win in this. They are bad guys.
I feel like the movie, you're not supposed to think that.
In fact, Hunter
You're
said,
definitely not supposed to think Hunter is a bad guy.
Hunter actually said himself that the actual ending of a Hollywood movie, if this was an actual Hollywood movie, is the two guys in the car would have blown up and they would have had their repercussion.
Yes.
That's the real ending of the movie. But
yeah,
Terry Gilliam had the last cut.
And Terry Gilliam made them heroes
made
instead
them
of
heroes.
villains.
Yeah.
All right.
Also,
Because
they're real.
Real life.
They're real people,
life,
yeah.
They didn't die. They got away with it.
Right.
So, and what's his face? He has a telegram from Gonzo,
Who had disappeared.
Yeah.
And he calls Gonzo, and Gonzo's like, "Hey, I booked you a hotel at the Flamingo. Go back to Vegas."
Yeah, let's go back.
And this miscommunication could have easily been
Easily
avoided
been avoided. Easily.
if they had a service like Riverside.
Mhm.
And why don't you tell the people what Riverside is?
Riverside is a service that you
Yeah.
use to communicate with other people over the internet. It's got 4K.
Yeah.
It's really good.
One could say telecommunication.
They telecommunicate. You can do it instead of Zoom because Zoom is for communists.
Yep, that's what I would use.
Yeah. Riverside is where it's at, and you need to use it. And you should write down our name when you use it.
Well, click our code.
Well,
right there.
Write it down.
Just get a notepad.
I'm using Riverside, and I wrote it down.
What year is this?
And I wrote it down in my book, my journal.
And it has a typewriter.
Ant was puffing ether before he did the show.
So
Yeah, that's Riverside.
their next plan. Their next plan is to go crash a police conference because the drug culture has to be.
Well, hold on.
Oh, what?
He gets back to Vegas he has a new car.
Oh yes. You're right.
And
And then they meet
I
Christina
skipped- I-
Ricci.
Well,
meet
there's a scene
Christopher
about gay
Maloney.
vengeance. Christopher Maloney is a gay
Yes.
guy
Yes.
who's getting revenge on the cops now.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I'm guessing homosexuality was still illegal at the
I
time.
guess.
It was probably frowned upon drastically at the
Because
time.
he makes it seem like
Well,
he's
it's just like
talking about the
we in the
70s.
audience understand that these cops are fascist pigs. And,
Yeah. We're
you
talking
know,
about
as
the
the common
70s.
man, if you got a little power over them, you better exercise it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're a hero if you do.
Yep.
You know?
So he lets the drug-addled
Yeah.
fucking wreck skip ahead of them in
Right.
line,
Yes.
And he
gives-
hooks him up.
and he hooks them up.
because he knew what he was saying. Yes.
And now when he goes into the room, Christina Ricci is there, and
Yes.
pictures of Barbara Streisand.
Yes. She's probably like 15 here
Younger.
Let's see.
Oh wait, Christina Ricci's
Yeah.
like age
in real life.
In real life,
She's probably like 15.
yeah. It seems like she's like
97?
13 or 14.
Before we
yeah.
before we say anything else, let's see how old she was.
I mean, I had such a crush on her when I was a little kid. When I was like 7 years old, I
She was
in love with
born
her.
in 1980.
So
and
she's
this
17,
17, 18?
16, 17.
16, 17 in this.
Mhm.
Well, this came out in 98. So
Oh, I thought it was
filmed in-
97.
No, 98. I'm pretty sure. Yes, it was released May 22nd, 1998.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
So yeah, the implication is that
Is that Gonzo has been
Gonzo
having
has
sex
been
with her.
having a
Yes.
pedophilic relationship
and
with this
she has
woman.
pictures of Barbara Streisand everywhere.
Paints Barbara Streisand.
I paint Mecha Streisand in my house.
Babura.
This did not happen.
This is movie shit.
This is not only movie shit. There was a 17-year-old Mormon that was hanging out with them in Vegas for a little bit. They were flirtatious, but nothing happened. They were like, let's put this in the movie as a portrayal of like the girl's American dream kind of thing and being raped by,
She goes to the big city to try to make it, and
that's what it is.
So the Mormons,
turned
real
out.
quick.
Yeah.
Mormons,
So that's
all
actually-
over Vegas.
That
They're
whole
all
thing
over
is
Vegas.
just like a
Yeah.
message about
If you
that.
ever talk to like the strippers in a strip club in Vegas, they're all Mormons.
yeah,
It's really weird. Like, I guess they just run away from home and just go to Vegas to be strippers.
Sure. If you're a Mormon stripper, let us know.
it was the Mormons.
And now Dr. Gonzo wants to pimp her.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck?
Well,
No,
you're wrong.
no.
You're
Who
wrong
wanted
there
to pimp her?
It
Nobody
was-
wanted to pimp her.
No, yeah, it was
And this is you're
He-
getting real confused.
the way that Hunter Thompson, well, that Johnny Depp gets across how evil what he's doing is by making it super extreme.
Oh, okay.
He's just saying like, yeah, we can turn her out.
We'll pimp her out and
Yeah.
we'll sell her to the police across the way and they'll just
Right.
gang
Yeah, that's
rape
what I'm
her.
saying.
Yeah, that was to say, hey, you're being evil. Stop.
Yeah,
Because
Right.
if you're gonna be evil, go all the way. Why not?
Mhm.
That's
Well,
all.
I thought that wasn't Gonzo kind of on board with it, and it wasn't until like they start talking about like the punishment that they decide not to.
Were we watching the same movie?
No, I think you're incorrect.
Yeah,
I might be wrong. To be honest, at this point, I
You're
was
just making
You
shit
tuned
up.
out.
I was like, when is this fucking thing ending?
This was a chore to get through.
I fucking hate. I hate this movie.
I can't wait for the comments.
And I know people love it. And if you love it,
I don't think anyone's going to be on our side.
We're wrong.
I don't. Love
if
is
you
a
like
hard
this,
word.
I think you're a fucking junkie. How about that?
All right. I'll just quit. I'll shut down the website. I'll take off everything because I'm a junkie.
He's gonna.
I was actually talking.
He's
got to
buy heroin.
You said if you like the movie.
I was talking more to the audience.
That's okay.
But
You can do all of that because you're not a junkie and you could do it. Have fun running the website.
Oh man, it's getting personal, guys.
You're gonna insult me
it's a fucking joke.
over a movie.
You made it personal. I made a joke that people that like the
You're
movie
insulting
are
the
junkies.
audience.
You took it personal.
So, on the
cut the air with a knife.
yeah.
Brian and Steve have a fight. Shit gets real.
So they go to the drug conference, and the guy from Air Bud is there.
I don't know the guy from Air Bud.
You don't know the guy from
Air
Air
Bud?
Bud?
No,
You know the guy who he wants the dog back?
I haven't seen Air
You
Bud.
never saw Air Bud?
Since I was
Yeah,
like 6.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Do
Are
you
we
watch
talking
Air
about-
Bud
are we
on the
talking
reg?
about the
Dog,
police officer at the counter,
the one giving
talking
the
to
speech.
Maloney?
Yeah.
or
No,
are we
no, no.
talking to
The one giving the speech at the conference.
the weird-looking guy?
Yeah, the redheaded guy with the mustache.
I don't know his name. I know who you're talking about, though.
That guy is in Air Bud. He's the villain who just wants his dog back that was taken. He plays a clown.
Okay.
Gadam's about to come in.
Jeter. He played the guy
Michael
from House
Jeter.
and Green Mile.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's also in Green Mile.
He's in City of Lost Children. Which
Yeah,
is a
he is.
French movie.
Yeah, good movie.
I think Gilliam has something to do with that.
Where was
Probably.
my-
Yeah.
I don't think he produced it or anything. So now they wait, what did I put? I put Pope found movie?
The Pope.
What?
What the fuck? I don't know. I don't know what I was writing there. Pope found a movie? Is there anything about the Pope? in
No,
here?
the police conference in real life they did this.
Well, they went to a district attorney
Yeah,
conference. in
they
real life.
went to a real conference where they were the outsiders.
Right. And you get the standard boomer make fun of people who
Mhm.
don't understand drugs by saying that they're making propaganda films about fucking the pot.
Pots.
You know, that I honestly, I question if that ever actually was like a thing. Like everybody points to Reefer Madness as being like the most ridiculous pot propaganda movie. I feel like that's the only one and nobody saw it. You know, I don't know. I'm not a boomer. I wasn't there, but
I feel like they existed, but
it's just, it's no one actually could have believed that. You know, it's not
we're talking about the quick like
like when there
this
was.
is your dope dealer scene.
Yeah, and like if you listen to the audio of the video they're watching in the background, like something else is happening in the scene. But if you listen, it's like Reefer Madness type shit.
yeah.
You know Reefer Madness? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're. I kind of, but
Reefer
like
Madness.
it was the anti like drug shit.
It was the
anti-
anti-drug
Yeah.
like pot movie from like the 50s.
where it shows like how it's going to ruin your life if you
Yeah.
smoke weed.
yes.
So I'll say this.
It
about
became a
it.
and
cult movie.
but people love it because it's so over the
And
top
they would
and
get
stupid.
high and watch it.
Yeah.
I'll say this about it. The sign. So they're actually driving into Vegas, and there's a sign that says like if you get caught with pot, it's like 5 years in jail. If you get caught selling, it's like 20
To life, I believe.
to
Mhm.
life. That was a real sign.
Probably, yeah.
Not probably, it was.
Yeah.
It was actually a sign up. So
Mhm.
when you look at this time period, it like I said, we have the gift of hindsight here.
Yes.
If you were smoking weed in the
Mhm.
60s
Or 70s.
or 70s, and it's like, oh, this is just like, freedom kind of bullshit. You had some serious repercussions if you were caught doing any of this. Like, it wasn't like, today where like,
I don't know about that. Because it's kind of before the Reagan war on drugs thing.
We're also talking about, the wait, what do you mean?
Well, because that was the whole thing with the famous war on drugs, which
Yeah.
started, slightly after this period, I think, where what you do is you make the sentencing for drug crimes so huge that it's supposed to dissuade, drug use. But I feel like this is like right before that
It
happened.
was really the Nixon administration that started.
Okay,
like,
so that's right.
The Nixon administration is the administration where they really started federally going after drug use and stuff. It wasn't until
Okay,
then.
so it was like right here.
It's about to start because is he president yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you're right. Like the crime, the like sentencing is so out of control,
It
over the
became
top.
insane.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, what else could you sentence?
Well, I'll hold on real
Right.
quick. If I'm gonna play devil's advocate here.
Yeah. About time. Someone invited me to the party.
It's so nice of you to show up.
Go ahead.
If you look at Singapore, where they have like the death penalty for any drug use,
Right.
there's like none.
And if you look at Penn Station, where there's no law whatsoever,
Rampant. Which I guess is a tough topic, and basically the actual reasoning for this entire film is not like, yeah, the drug use is rampant. Because if you make something illegal like that, what else could you do? And that's the whole like idea of like, hey, fascism starts with small stuff, not big stuff.
I don't really get that in the movie. I don't
Okay.
see it, but
I get it. But that's like the reason why it was, I guess the book especially like bigger
there's probably more
is that.
detail.
Yeah.
So now they go back, and Lucy calls the hotel. She's looking. Christina Ricci calls the hotel looking for Gonzo.
yeah.
And he starts doing this elaborate thing. The cops are gonna come get them and stuff, and they're hiding. And he's doing like a one-man thing.
He's pretending he's getting arrested so
Yeah.
they don't have to see her.
He's
Exactly.
trying to trick her.
Yes.
Yeah.
And while this is happening, Johnny Depp is taking Adrenochrome.
Adrenochrome. Yeah.
Yes, he's.
Is
Hollywood
that the
elite.
thing that
Yes,
QAnon?
Hollywood
yeah,
elite.
okay.
Yes. Yes. Shit from the adrenaline gland.
Yeah. I thought it was from the blood. What they were like like QAnon said the liberals were doing with the shit.
This is that.
This is that.
But I thought that like it was. Is it in blood? Because I
No,
thought,
it's the enzyme that's created by the
It's-
adrenaline.
it's
That's
the
what they said in the movie,
It's
but
the
I-
pineal gland in your brain, so you have to get it from a living person. So you have to actually,
human
go in-
sacrifice.
kind of.
You gotta suck babies.
or
Babies.
you put somebody into such a serious amount of pain, the adrenaline kicks in,
Holy shit.
and
Torture them?
You have to torture them, and then you extract their blood so that there's adrenaline in their
Oh my
bloodstream.
God.
So the only way you can get this,
And
is
that's what he was
through-
saying.
Yes, it's through horrific means.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
that-
fucked up.
That's what this guy was into.
And what is the effect of that? Like I know uppers, downers. Like what is
Just taking
So-
adrenaline? I don't know.
What's really difficult about this movie, which I kind of actually hate about it, is how they portray the drug use. Because Hunter was on so many fucking drugs at the same time. He was drinking, smoking pot, snorting K, doing speed,
doing ether.
doing ether, doing mescaline, doing acid, cocaine, shrooms, all this at the same time.
How was he alive?
He shouldn't be on paper. But like, so
Like,
when
did you ever see that thing? I'm sure you could pull this up. He like cataloged what he did his daily routine.
Hunter S. Thompson?
Yeah, like for most of his life. Like he'd wake up at 3 p.m. and get going, and he like cataloged everything he did. You find it?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hold on.
So this is what
I'm
he did
pulling it
every
up.
day.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
know it's insane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's you
Yeah,
would think it's fake.
I hate every fucking website you go to now. These fucking cocksuckers want cookies. Every single fucking one of them.
It's Santa, dude. He runs the internet.
I wish. Okay. All right. Ready?
Yes.
3 p.m. Rise. 3:05. Chivas Regal with the morning papers. Dunhill cigarette. 3:45. Cocaine. 3:50. Another glass of Chivas. Dunhill.
I
4:95.
like how he's doing the voice.
First cup of coffee. Dunhill. 4:15. Cocaine. 4:16. Orange juice. Dunhill. 4:30. Cocaine. 4:54. Cocaine.
He should be dead within the
He should be
first
dead
2
already,
hours,
yeah.
5:05, cocaine.
This has to be a joke.
5:11, coffee, Dunhills. More ice cream in the Chivas, 5:30. 5:45, cocaine. 6 p.m., grass to take the edge off. 7:05, Woody Creek Tavern for lunch. Heineken, 2 margaritas, 2 cheeseburgers, 2 orders of fries, a plate of tomatoes, coleslaw, a taco salad, a double order of onion rings, carrot cake, ice cream, bean fritter, Dunhills, another Heineken.
This is fake.
You
cocaine,
couldn't live. It has
and
to
for
be.
the ride home,
Yeah.
a snow clone,
He was
a glass
very,
of shredded ice over which is poured 3 or 4 jiggers of Chivas. 8 p.m., cocaine. 10 p.m., drops acid. 11 p.m., chartreuse? I don't know. Cocaine and grass.
It's probably
11:30, cocaine. Midnight, Hunter is ready to write. 12:05, 6 a.m., chartreuse. Cocaine, grass, Chivas, coffee, Heineken, clove cigarettes, grapefruit, Dunhills, orange juice, gin. 6 a.m. in the
He's just
hot
listing
tub,
nonsense.
champagne, Dove bars,
What can I
fettuccine
list?
Alfredo. 8 a.m., halcyon. 8:20, sleep.
There you
There
go.
you go.
Ugh.
That was supposedly his daily routine.
Yeah, I don't think that was a routine. That can't be.
I don't think you could. If you did
You
that,
die.
if you did
There
that
go.
once and lived, that's a miracle. If you did it every
Yeah.
day,
It's just nonsense.
it's just
nonsense.
No.
It's just nonsense. So during the Adrenochrome scene, it's over the top. He freaks out. He's hallucinating. The scene looks cool. I don't think that's
What
He
happens?
actually said he hated the fact that Terry Gilliam was doing this kind of shit because Terry's never done acid. So how would you even know what the hell it looks like?
Mhm.
He goes, he did some cool stuff, like some effects, but it doesn't really.
No, I get
state
that.
it.
If you're well acquainted with the way things actually are, to see them portrayed poorly would be angering.
Yeah. And he said that Timothy Leary, so Timothy Leary was the acid guy of the 60s,
Yes.
called him an FBI informant, fraud, and horrible person.
Called Hunter Thompson this.
Hunter Thompson called Tim Leary a fraud, FBI informant, and horrible person.
Mhm.
He hated the fact that he gave acid to everyone.
Okay.
I think he wanted it as like his own like secret thing.
Yeah, maybe he meant it wasn't meant for the masses.
It wasn't.
Mm-hmm. You had to be an enlightened person.
Mm-hmm. Or just a drug addict, depending on who you ask.
Didn't the CIA invent LSD?
And
Yes.
Ultra experiments.
Yes.
Right? That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And they wanted to introduce it to a populace or something like that, right? I don't know.
I don't know how it got out. Probably on purpose.
Probably on purpose. Yeah.
So he's all
Can't imagine why.
he's all fucked up, and the suite's a wreck. There's like water everywhere. It's like dystopian hellscape.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Gonzo is attacking a maid,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
and they basically
They trick her to leave.
they trick her into leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah, saying that they're like cops or
None
whatever.
of this matters.
No.
None of this matters at all. Just get to the diner scene.
Well, hold on. There is one thing that matters.
What?
So you see them going around. He's piecing together because he blocked out for like a week,
Yeah.
and he's piecing together what he did with the random recordings that he was showing to people. And those recordings were later put into something. I forget what it is. They were published. I can't find it right
It's
now.
okay.
It's fine. It's fine. But that's. It's probably just ramblings. It's just ramblings of a
Yeah,
guy
none
who's
of
just
this matters.
bullshit. Yeah.
He drops him. He's got to. They go to the diner.
Yep.
Go to the diner.
They go to the diner. And while they're there,
Is that the mother from Pleasantville?
that's Ellen Barkin. Let me see what else she was in. I don't know if she was in Pleasantville. She may have been. You guys talk about the scene.
Crucible. That woman. I think it's her. But yeah, they're sitting
I
at
don't
the
think she's in the
they're sitting at the counter, and Gonzo slips her a note about how he wants to fuck her in the ass.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, are you a prostitute? I
Right.
guess is the question.
And
Right.
she gets offended and yells at him, and he whips out a knife and acts like he's gonna murder people, and buys a lemon pie and walks out. And it's a very tense scene, and it's well acted and all that. But again, it really doesn't account for anything. Like, it's just another crazy thing that happened, just like every other scene in the movie. But it's the best scene in the movie, in my opinion.
I agree.
Very tense.
Yes.
And Johnny Depp is considering leaving with a plate of food, and he puts it back.
I think like, I don't know how you guys felt the first time I saw this. I was expecting.
You hate Gummo, right?
Yeah, I don't like Gummo. Yeah.
You don't
Anyone
see
who
any.
likes Gummo is a fucking junkie.
You piece of shit.
I get why like you like it. It's just not my thing. That's all.
But I'm just saying, like, there's obviously similarities here. Weirdness,
in what
weirdness for the
way?
sake of weirdness.
But it's a true story.
Yeah,
Gummo's not.
but I'm just saying from a movie sense.
In what weird?
They're not good stories.
Do you mean? Yeah, that's different than weird.
I wonder if I rewatched Gummo if I would still like it. I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
I don't know. You
When was the
probably
last
would.
time you watched it?
Probably like teenager.
I don't know. Maybe give it a rewatch.
What do you mean weirdness for the sake of weirdness in this though? Because this wasn't weird.
Because I'm just like this movie. Gummo is almost vignettes of weird things that have no reason to happen.
And it's just an overarching thing to show poverty in America. That's
Mhm.
the
I
point.
suppose, yeah.
Because the area was fucked up by a hurricane,
Uh-huh.
showing all the fucked up
Yeah.
lives
Yeah.
of these people living in like that desolate
Right.
wasteland.
And there's just no story to speak of.
Yeah, exactly. And this is, two fucking guys doing drugs.
And there's no story to speak of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They go to a place, they do drugs. Something that doesn't affect them happens. They
Mhm.
go somewhere else, it's the same thing.
Mhm.
It's never like we have to do X for Y.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a meandering movie.
It's this. We're gonna get away with this stuff, and that's it. That's
Mhm.
all. But I think there's more of because it's more about, at least for me, like why I like it more than Gummo. Because Gummo, I actually like really.
You hate.
I really hate it.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's not really a story, but at least with this, I could be like, why are they doing this? And then go look at the real people and be like, oh,
They're doing what they did.
this
Yeah.
is actually
what's written down in the book.
what's written down, and this is what happened, and
Mhm.
it's a time period that was very weird, but also said a lot about the state of a country and where it can go. And I think that he kind of nailed it, to be honest, Hunter S. Thompson. Because to disagree with the fact that
From his point of view, he did.
like a government could slowly just take away just basic rights,
Right.
and then eventually become like this destructive force. That's the most truthful thing you could do.
No argument here, but I don't think that's what the movie's saying.
I'm not saying so much the
Yeah.
movie. I'm saying
His writings.
his writing, like the movie is a connection to the writings, it's a connection
Mm-hmm.
to the person, and that's the first time you're like, why is this a movie? Why is
Right.
this a thing? Why was this an article?
Mhm.
And it leads you down a rabbit hole of, oh, this is why A and B and C and stuff like that.
Right.
That's it's a connector. It's a connector to an overarching
Mhm.
idea. That's all. Just like calling somebody a junkie.
an open mouth.
Yeah. The movie, Hunter said this movie was very difficult to make as the producer, but they said it was a very political movie. And it's just about how, that's what he said. I'm telling you what he said. I'm not saying what I said.
I know.
So after the diner scene, I was reminded of something.
What's that?
My friend, he went to a diner once and he signed like an autograph for them, and he put nothing.
Is he famous?
Kind of, yeah. And he wrote, "Nothing is finer than being in your diner."
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't like what he wrote, and he actually asked if he could have it back.
They give it to him?
No, he had to fight with them over it.
Oh, goddamn.
I don't know if he actually got it back,
Mm.
but he wanted it. So
What do you give this movie?
well, we're not done. We're not done. We got like a couple of sentences left.
Yeah.
So they're after the diner, they're driving. They see Christina Ricci with her Barbra Streisand paintings. Gonzo leaves, And Hunter S. Thompson has to drive back to L.A. and he like does some writing, and that's really it. That's the end of the movie.
They drop him off at the
Yeah.
airplane.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know if that was the last time he saw him.
It for the movie, yes, but
Yeah.
in real life, no, because they saw
sure
each
they
other
spoke
as
each other
recently
about
as
it,
the
yeah.
book coming out. You know,
Right, yeah.
So that couldn't have been the last time.
Well, Hunter Thompson lived in his house in Colorado until the day he died,
Yes.
2005, I believe.
Yep.
He shot himself.
Mhm.
He had become legendary in certain circles as a writer and a cultural icon.
Johnny Depp said he is like still aspires to be him. Like he wants to be, Hunter.
Yeah.
There was this article that some publication published a year or two ago where this writer went and like stayed with Johnny Depp for like a week or so and just like wrote about his experiences with Johnny. And Johnny was, talking about how like he just likes being like fucked up all the time like Hunter was and shit. Like it's a big influence for him.
Nice.
So
Nice. Way to go. He also, I believe he ran for sheriff
He did.
of his county.
He
And I don't think he was elected.
I think it was not terribly long after the book came out.
Yeah.
And he decided to get involved with politics. He ran for sheriff.
Yeah.
He did not win the election.
Failed miserably. Well, not miserably, but he failed.
But he did channel some of that energy into his support for Jimmy Carter to win the election in 78, 77, 77.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah. That's the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know how everyone feels about it. Not at the table. I mean, out there in the world. I know how everyone at the table feels about it. All you junkies and people
All
out
you
there.
fucking people. You dipshits.
There are two types of people in this world. One, the junkies. The other one's the normal humans. You can gauge what they are, just how they feel on Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yes, of course.
That was a very Seinfeldian delivery.
Thank you.
It was very
I think.
good.
I guess that's
I'm gonna give it a 2. That's my number.
Okay.
Steve,
it's 6.5.
6.5. That's lower than I thought you would.
I think the actual movie itself, like you said, like there's not like a continuous story,
Mhm.
Uh,
What do you love about it, if anything? Because it seems just from your lukewarm on it based on your rating.
it's not lukewarm. Like it could be better.
Mhm.
It's a movie about two guys in a weekend. That's all it is.
Mhm.
Like I said, I like the connection of it. I like looking up the guy, seeing what his life was about. what his
Fascinated by the
stances
character.
were, yeah, and also somewhat fascinated by the transition from hippie movement into boomerism and into becoming like the thing you kind of hated.
That's interesting.
I just don't think that's the point of the movie, though.
But I didn't say that.
That's the real guy. He's talking
Yeah.
about just
You're talking about like the movie, what you liked about it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I said that's the connector that I like. That's why the reason why I like that movie is the connector. Not as much the plain movie itself.
style.
Because if I knew nothing about, let's say you go into this blind and you know nothing about anything, I think 6.5 is like even giving it a little too much.
That's a passing grade.
You know?
6.5.
Yeah. But it looks great. The scenes that are actually like the drug-fueled scenes look cool. It gives you a nice little
I think it's well directed.
the acting's good. There's tense moments.
I don't think
there just isn't like
not as tense as
what you
anything on
want.
the
It's
show,
not
but pretty
no.
tense.
It's not a traditional thing, that's all.
Brian?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 3.
3.
Yeah. I hate this movie. I hate everything about it.
But you have to recognize the technical excellence.
I hate anyone who likes it.
Yeah.
What a flaming passion. They are, in fact, heroin addicts.
Yeah. They're junkies that are idiots and beneath me. I think the movie has poor messaging. It's well directed. There's not a story that's enjoyable. There's only a couple of moments that are fun. There's no comeuppance for the people. In general, I just get no joy in watching this. Other people seem to love it. It's a cult classic for a reason. I just have never vibed with this movie. It's not for me. So, there you go.
All right. You have a drawing.
Yeah.
Dude. That's the suitcase. It's the suitcase with all the drugs.
Yep.
Drugs represented by
Yeah, I
small
get it.
circles and a carrot.
Pills.
I get it. I
That's
get
a
it.
syringe. Yeah.
You know what? That's if I didn't watch the movie,
Never.
it
Yeah.
looks like TV is stacked, but
So I didn't know.
I thought it was a hotel at first.
I didn't know what I was going to draw
Uh-huh.
when I was watching this, and then they have the shot in the movie where they zoom in on the bag
X-ray.
and it's X-ray,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, cool, it'll do that,"
Mm-hmm.
and I decided to take that.
All right. Wrap it up.
Well,
Yep.
real quick, hold on.
sure.
These are guys that struggled with drugs and drug addictions,
Oh,
and
we still have that.
I thought we did it.
we did Riverside.
It's all a blur.
And if you guys, are struggling with drugs or drug addiction, you can go on not Riverside, sorry. You could go on Riverside and telecommunicate with a friend, but you can also use betterhelp.com, which is a service you can use to talk to an
You
online
said cervix.
Cervix, yeah, it's a service you can use. It's a service you can use to talk to an online licensed therapist. You can customize it to the type of person you want to talk to, someone that aligns with you. One of the qualifiers is you can put in whether they
Not a
like
junkie.
fear. Well, not a junkie. You can also request if they like Fear or Loathing in Las Vegas or not. So you don't have to fucking talk to anyone that likes this shit movie because they're subhuman and beneath you. In your heart of hearts, you carry that burning desire deeply that you don't want to associate with anyone that would like this.
Oh my god.
This is our best episode, right? Where I shut down the past 20 minutes. I don't talk.
Shut it down more than 20 minutes.
Ooh, boy.
So go to betterhelp.com. Maybe you need couples therapy like me and Steve are going to do after this.
Yep.
And talk to an online licensed therapist. Work through your issues. Help each other. Be good to each other. Check out betterhelp.com today. Talk to a therapist. Comfort of your own home. Click our code. It's right there. All right.
That was a good one. Anyway. You got to.
Thank you for
you
watching
gotta-
the show.
I was waiting for you guys to say bye.
Oh, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Want to give a big thank you to everybody listening and or watching. We
I thought he was going to go right into it. I was like, wait.
No, you guys have to say bye. Well, I give a big thank you to everybody listening and or watching. I want to give a big thank you to Tell 'em Steve, Dave, Brywalt, Q, Get 'em, Lannis Record down in the studio. We greatly appreciate it. If you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Follow us.
Hopefully there's another show after
Yeah.
this.
Maybe we'll see you next week. Check out Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all those places. Give us a 5-star review. It helps potential sponsors find the show. Tell a friend about us. Check out the Reddit if you want to talk about the show, people that actually listen. We're trying to build a community of people that like and listen to the show. It might be good for another week. Follow me on Letterboxd. I rank a review every single movie I watch, even the ones on my personal life, at Brian Rupert. That's with 2 P's. You follow the show on all social media at Reviewing History, Review History Pod on Twitter, Reviewing History Pod everywhere else. That's it. Thank you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.